yourself and your company?
Of course. So, my name is Noordende. I'm currently a partner at Keadyn Venture Capital Operates.
Yeah.
We're building an alternative model for investing in startups by providing startups with more than just cash.
Okay.
We invest in people, not products, and we invest in cash plus commitment. And that's basically our model. My background is in marketing. Also been in the startup scene. I sold my last startup 2 years ago actually, and decided that this market also needs to be disrupted.
Yeah.
There's an incredible banking culture, and I don't believe the investors add value to the startups.
Yeah.
And we want to make a difference.
All right, got it. So, speaking of Dutch startup ecosystem, actually, I'm not familiar with Dutch startup ecosystem. So, my next question is, could you please talk a little bit about the Dutch startup ecosystem? Like, for example, how many startups is in the Dutch ecosystem, and venture capitalists, and etc.
So great. I think if you look at the Dutch startup and venture capital market, we actually got a boost a couple of years ago when our government, together with the bottom-up organization, decided to try to create one single hub and one single ecosystem. So the Netherlands is a really tiny country, and from one way to the other way, it's comparable to Silicon Valley and Palo Alto, for example. San Francisco, Palo Alto, the same distance. So every hub is within 90 minutes drive, which makes us an ideal ecosystem enabler. So what happened is, there used to be all kinds of scattered technology hubs. So one was on e-commerce, there was Amsterdam, there was a hub in another different part of the country, and they actually got together, and that's what actually accelerated the ecosystem. Venture capital market, I would say, is developed, but it's not comparable to the UK or, for example, the German market, or especially the US market. Our investment rounds are a little bit smaller. There's a gap in the really early stage, unfortunately. So there's a lot of really successful, cool entrepreneurs that are building a product, but in the early stage they have trouble finding funding. But it is changing. We are developing an ecosystem for angel investors, or former successful entrepreneurs, to start investing again in these same startups, and that's accelerating. So it's developing. I think you should have about 40 to 50 professional venture capital funds in the Netherlands, and the average size varies from somewhere to 6 million up to 1 billion euros.
And my next question is, do you have like some extraordinary, like a special mentoring program, or like a special program for the startups in your company?
In our company specifically? Yeah. So what we try to do differently. So first, it starts with the matchmaking process in advance. So we look at, like I mentioned, we look at teams. We invest in people, not products. So we're absolutely interested in financials, but not so much. We want to make sure there's a culture fit with the Keadyn team. And the second reason for us to invest in the company is that we are sure that we can add value. So we only invest if we add value and there's a culture fit with the team. If you look at our process, we're absolutely not there yet. We're just at the beginning of the phase. We're trying to disrupt the cycle, so we want to make sure that we do super fast onboarding. So if we talk to a startup in week 1, we want to make sure that we close the deal within 8 to 12 weeks. That's an ambitious plan, but that's what we're working on. And if you look at how we help the startups, we're trying to build a framework of experts, and it's sort of like an iteration of the mentorship model. But these experts are committed because they get a part of the upside when we sell the business. So they, instead of becoming loose mentors with possible commitment or non-commitment, we really get committed experts, and these are the very best people in all different areas: marketing, strategy, finance. And like I said, we believe in adding short-term value and a lot of that. So the linear process hopefully gets into a disruptive process.
All right. So. And the selecting startups is not easy, right? Because there are so many startups, and like your company, which is like spearheading the venture capital market. So that's where you are, like more specifically or particularly try to pick up a very good startups. And is there any like a standard or criteria that you are working on in order to select the best startup?
But that's the $1 million question. If we would know how to select the very best people, we would get 10 out of 10 score. I have to say, in the past we've also failed with our investments, like every investor does. What we try to do is we try to present ourselves in a different way because we're entrepreneurs. We're from the system itself. We're not bankers, and therefore we attract different type of founders. So hopefully they will also find us. And to further up the process, what we try to do is we try to create or develop tools that enable us to quickly find and determine which competitors a specific company has. And if we find them, we also would approach them. So we like to go more to the outbound sourcing approach, if you will.
Okay.
But selecting startups and teams is still a really hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we also have to say no to a lot of really awesome founders because they don't fit in our model, or we're working on several deals already. So, but that's actually takes a lot of time.
Sure.
And, hopefully, we can help some founders with some feedback along the way.
Yeah. All right. So, if you look at the past, is there any successful startups that you are fostering so far?
From Keadyn?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some pretty cool rides actually. So the last really cool one was our investment in Nespik. It's an Airbnb for students. You can compare it to that. And we actually sold it last year to Rocket Internet, the leading German VC actually.
Yeah.
We actually accelerated that venture from 0 to 50 employees in 12 months. And the founding partner of Keadyn was also heavily involved with the founder.
Okay.
But I have to say, this guy is just amazing. He's Fabian, and he is just, a one-of-a-kind founder that can get things done. Second really cool thing, I'm not sure if they're also in Korea, but they could be. It's a 25-year-old entrepreneur called Steiner Henskes. And he built this company based on laser detection technology to scare away birds from airfields.
Oh, interesting.
And he's actually doing it, diversifying in different markets. And he's active in 80 countries. It's called Bird Control Group. And this guy is an amazing founder as well. So you heard me saying as well, we believe it's about the founders, not so much about product. But so that's a really cool example as well.
All right.
And currently we're focusing on FinTech, e-commerce, and marketplaces, but primarily software technology.
Okay. I think it's going to be the last question, and it's about you and your job. Being an entrepreneur, I think it's different. It's really charming, attractive job.
Yeah.
And what do you like about this job, in your perspective?
As being an entrepreneur?
Yeah. Being an entrepreneur, like your case, venture capitalist.
Yeah.
And what do you like about your job?
I'm extremely passionate about helping successful and charismatic founders.
All right.
So now, having been there, I know how hard it is to attract capital, to attract talent, to attract the right, product market fit. So even if we don't invest, hopefully I've been able to help that founder on a small scale. And like I mentioned, I'm intrinsically motivated to help these guys actually cross the gap.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned, in the Netherlands it's an early gap, and in the US it's a little bit later, but everyone faces the same problem. And I also want to make sure that they don't meet up with the wrong people in between, so that they find the right context and the right network context. But that's what actually drives me. I love it.
You love it.
Helping founders.
All right, so sorry to say, I think this is going to be the last question.
No problem.
What is your ultimate goal in your life?
That's a really good and big question. Actually.
Yeah, I mean, we just met last night and they were talking about all this stuff, but I'm really curious about your ultimate goal in your
Well, I would say it's to leave a footprint. The footprint bigger than just this current vessel, the investment vessel that we call Keadyn, but hopefully to have helped other founders create inspiring, and other founders help inspire other founders on a deeper intrinsic level. That sounds a bit holistic, but like I mentioned, hopefully I can share some knowledge and leave some footprint and support entrepreneurship as a whole. And by entrepreneurship, by the way, I not only mean entrepreneurship in startups, but also intrapreneurship. I mean, within corporate organizations, I think there's a lot of room for that as well. So that will be, at the moment, is my current focus.
All right. Thank you so much. I think that was like really impressive answer, the last one.
Okay. Cool.
All right, so thanks.